Hello my friend, it is Friday, UFO Friday, and I'm Pat Sloan here with my daily video. So we're going to do UFOs today for Friday, and the goal is to get something completed. I know, you may not have anything close enough to get completed, but you could stretch this UFO out, like just stretch it till the end of the month. See if you can get something completed by the end of the month. And I'm going to up the ante that you need to confess announce, however you want to think about it, what that UFO is. Mine will be getting the binding on Barbie and getting her ready to send out to my great niece Amelia. So that'll be mine, plus some other stuff that I want to get done. Yeah, I want to get done. Like 800 bindings. Still feel like I have 800 every year. Like everything that comes back in has to have binding put on it. So yeah, I could have a binding party, like painting a fence with Tom Sawyer, right? So this is going to be a mishmash today, but we're going to start off with the Sewcialite block. Sewcialites, there we go. I think this is a pretty cool block. It's a basic churn dash with these center 4-patch, and what that does is when you look at it from a distance, it changes the look of the block. Look at it on point. So that would be kind of cool because it makes this whole line, come through there. So this is my Morrison Park, and this is one of the prints from Morrison Park. And I'm doing all of mine. Let's see, as you can see, the other ones. So they're real quick, if I can get them apart. Then we did the one in pink. I just love the pink. I love that I put pink in this line. And the gorgeous garden fabric and my golden fabric with that super cool star. And then today's is called Wisdom. It's like, I think we're all gaining, I think we might all be gaining tons of wisdom with the COVID, don't you think? Like, if you didn't have any before, you're going to get some, along with perseverance and hopefully patience and a few other things to survive this. So pillows. I want to talk about pillows now. Okay, so you're doing Sewcialite blocks. The link is below to that. If you haven't started it yet and you want to jump in, there are 3 size blocks. You can pick to do the whole quilt in whichever size you want. I'm doing the 9-inch, which is the biggest. Some people are doing the 3-inch, which is teeny tiny. So small, so cute. I know, I think like, oh, I should have tried that, but I just was a little like nervous with my dexterity. Like, it's like, nah, I don't want to add that extra. I'd have to be starching all the fabric. No, so I went with 9. So I am, speaking of UFOs, going back, we're going to go back and forth. I'm just chit-chatting. I want to get these pillows done. First of all, I did one. I finished one. My fall Halloweenish. They're not really that Halloween. They're more fall. So I got this one done. This is the border of the quilt along we did from the layer cake. This is the fabric I used for the border. And so I wanted to just make one pillow just with that. I remember I made a pillow with the four of the blocks from that layer cake pattern called the birthday cake from the layer cake book. Perfect 10. So can you see the stitching? See, I did the diagonal in the orange there. So I just followed the pattern and quilted the diagonal. And I made the pillowcase a little bit loose so that it's not pulling. I don't like it when they pull, so it's a little bit loose. And this pillow is more rounded, like the corners of this pillow form are rounded. So there's really nothing in these, but because this is quilted, they stick out very nicely. Now the other one that I'm doing is, I had to find a pillow form. Remember I had this fabric. Hold on. Everything's all wrapped. So remember I had this fabric and I used it in that layer cake quilt, and I just love this fabric, but I've already used it. There's not a whole lot of it, and I decided that it would make a perfect 3rd or 4th pillow because remember I have the cross stitch pillow. So I needed to find a pillow form because I wasn't going to wait to order a pillow form. I don't have that patience. So I found a rectangular pillow form that we had. So that's what I'm doing, and I have gotten, what I decided to do was add a little bit more purple. I debated purple, green, but of course this fabric has purple in it, so of course it has to be purple, and the cross stitch has some purple in it. Some of the other pieces in my living room have green in it. So there we go. This is how I'll be doing this pattern, and I think I'm going to do the little wave stitch, and I may do it horizontal to just get visually accent that this is a rectangle. And then I do believe from this I can get the backing. I mean, I have this weird little chunk sitting up here, but I think when I hold it this way, I'm definitely sure I can cut this in half, and it'll be the two pieces of the back. I might need, no, I think it'll be enough. One of them might need to be, I might need to make one, maybe make one a little bit longer, one a little bit shorter. But I'll be able to pretty much use this up and then take the extra and cut it into my 2.5-inch squares to put in the bin with all of my scraps, 2.5-inch square scraps, because that's pretty much the only size I'm keeping right now. Cross stitch, the cross stitch pillow that I showed last time. I sent a picture to Kimberly at the Fat Quarter Shop where all this comes from, and Kimberly's like, send me the pillow, I want to show everybody. So I put the pillowcase in the mail this morning, so next week, probably on her Flosstube, but she might show it on her quilt channel, her quilting show as well next week. So you'll see the cross stitch pillow, which is a combo effort from Cindy and I. Cindy did the cross stitch and I did all the pillow stuff. We're also doing the Fright Night, and the next part came out. This is so cute. Look at it. Look, 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 look. It's got the haunted house. I adore this. Now, I'm still, I have to pick and choose. So as much as I want to do everything, I still have to spend a lot of time exercising my hands and trying to get things to work. So that means I don't have as much time, and other things take me a little bit longer. So I haven't been doing the cross stitch that much, but I have everything together. I've got it all together in the Fright bag. Halloween. I love this bag. I love this bag so much. There's actually a little zipper pull that's got a ghost on it, and I'm like debating, do I get the ghost? It's almost the end of the season. I think I'll end up getting the ghost. So I'm working on the letters still. Obviously I will not be done by Halloween. Unless I stop doing everything else, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having projects here that I just, work on and, go through as I do them, and that will go into another time. A lot of the cross stitchers they'll pick like one day they work on a Christmas project, the next day they'll sew an Easter project. They kind of have themes for their day, so if they have a project in that theme, they work on it every week versus working on just one all the way through. And I kind of like that idea because I think it would be fun to approach it like that. And I have about 6 project bags, so of course I want to start another one, and I haven't even finished these, but that's okay. That's the way it rolls. So I'm going to give you a tip in case you're trying to troubleshoot something, because this is what happened to me. I was using my automatic needle threader, which I love. If you've never had an automatic needle threader on your sewing machine, the next upgrade machine you get, be sure you have one. The thing is, automatic needle threaders, they're a little wire. And a while back on one of my machines, the wire got bent when I was cleaning it because I wasn't thinking, and I got a brush up in there and it was a little too rough, and so it bent it, and Greg had to do some very meticulous work to take it apart to fix it, so because we didn't want to take it to a dealer. It was pre-COVID, so we didn't want to take it out to the dealer, so he fixed it. But the other day the needle threader just stopped working, so I thought, okay, I don't remember cleaning it, and I know I'm careful, so I took the needle, I cleaned, blew the dust away, and tried again. Didn't work. So I took the needle out, put it back in 2 or 3 times, and it still wouldn't thread the needle. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a new needle in. I don't think I did anything to this needle, but I'm going to put a new needle in because maybe it got a burr or something, and it won't on the eye somehow. Who knows? Or somehow I bent it somehow. Who knows? So I took the needle out, put a new needle in. Voila, it worked. So there is a troubleshooting tip. Don't give up. Do every single thing that you can think of to troubleshoot. And who knows? One of them, or a combination of them, might fix what's going on. And that's the story on that. So we had Sandy wrote because she had been watching a little bit of the videos, but not watching all of them lately, I guess, and hadn't seen that I talked a lot about the Dear Jane quilt, and she wanted to see a bit more, and I promised to show you the up close, so today is the day for the up close. So here's a Dear Jane blocks from the Jane Stickle book, which is written by Brenda Papadakis, and it is out of print. So if you want to buy a copy, you can buy a used copy on the used market. If you use my Amazon link, I get credit for even the used copies. And there are some that are under $40. There's a lot that are a lot more because, you know, once a book like this goes out of print, then everybody wants it. Maybe 10 years from now, nobody will want it anymore. But these blocks were from the Jane Stickle quilt, which is a Civil War quilt that she finished in 1863. So I did not do all the blocks, and it has a gorgeous triangle border, triangle blocks on a border. It's just gorgeous, the real quilt. But I did what they call a baby Jane, making less blocks, and then I added my alphabet. So you've got the alphabet, da-da-da, and I wanted to show you the quilting on it. So I'm going to bring this down because then I can talk about it. There we go. I can talk about it. Whoops. Here we go. Close, 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 close. So the royal we, Cindy and Dennis, did a orange peel for me. I'm going to turn it this way. I gotta get it where I can maneuver it. Okay, so you can see the orange peel quilting in here. Like, look on this block. See, these are like petals. This is called like an orange peel. And that's, you can do orange peel quilts. There's, you know, quilts like that. So I didn't alternate one by one. The top row is all blocks, and then some of these other rows have the alphabet. Some of the blocks are signed or have dates on them, like the basket that my mother-in-law was in the swap that we did. She printed her name that time. She doesn't usually print, but that's what she did since she was swapping the blocks. And you can see on the back, my fingers don't work so good. Okay, so here's the orange peel on the back, which you can see a little better. And then the middle part of this is this batik, but I didn't have enough, like I told you on the video the other day, so I put this on the edge to frame it out. And here is this sort of golden batik, which goes really well with this golden border, which I believe is an older French General fabric. I think this was French General from quite a few years ago. And then this little inner border is my Bonnie Lane, and that's what I had cut to put on the outer border. And then I thought, well, maybe I should get a stripe because I really like stripes. But I think I'm going to go back to this because I have it and I can finish it. And what I'm going to do then is hang this quilt here in my studio. I have a vaulted ceiling in this room, and right up here where I can see it all the time is a quilt that I did years ago, and it's red, has a lot of red and black, so it went with the colors in here. But I think I want to look at this one, so I'll have Mr. Greg swap it out when I get the binding done. But it has to wait behind a few other bindings that come first. So I need to make a list of my bindings. I'm going to put that in one of my journal, and so I could just like make a list, say, okay, these are the bindings in the order, which is rolling us right back to the topic of the day, which is finishing a UFO in the next, by the end of the month. Finish a UFO by the end of the month. Take the pledge, pinky swear. That's what we're going to do. So today, which is Friday, in the afternoon, I have early afternoon, I have my my possible last occupational, I always say the wrong word, occupational therapy for my wrists. I go in for an in-person visit. She'll do measurements. My left hand, these fingers still don't have the right flexibility. If my left hand was like the right, I would be really happy because there's still tension, but it's moving. This one, there's a lot less movement in the wrist. It may look like there's movement to you, but that's because I've been up for many hours and been maneuvering it all day. When I wake up in the morning, they're pretty much, this one's pretty much like a claw. Just, I have to literally bend each joint and get everything warmed up, run it under warm water. So it's a process to get the left hand moving in the morning. But I can type now without it cramping up, and so it's getting better. It's getting there. It's just going to be a while. And then the strength is slow. Weight bearing probably won't be for another 9 months at least. So spring. Spring. So I mean, that means I have to be careful, because my brain thinks everything's fine sometimes. You know, it forgets, because I can move enough once the fingers are warmed up. They still don't work perfectly, but they work decent. And so I'll lean over to lean on something and be like, you know, like I can't do that. So I have to be super careful. I find that I can lean like this, like on my knuckles, which is weird, but you know, sometimes I think I should start a group to talk about things we have to do when parts of us don't work anymore. Like, you know, because you get your back hurts, or your legs, or your feet, or your arms, or your hands, or your shoulders, I mean your neck. There's all kinds of parts of us that over time may or may not work as well, and may not go back to working so well. And there's things that we can learn from each other, and things that we can do. So sometimes, who knows, maybe one day I'll pop up a site, a group at Facebook for sewing with issues. I don't know what to call it. If you have an idea of what to call it, let me know. That's okay. UFO. And if you're cross stitching this absolutely darling, get it going. And if you're making the Sewcialites, you can still have time to join in. We have weeks and weeks and weeks ahead of us. Done with the Morrison Park. Thank you for using my links, my friend. I love you. Mwah. See you online.